Don't even play with me. Get the... Oh my God, I got a KO from the top. Oh, what a hit! Streets were... Oh, wrong screen as always. There we go. Who would have figured I would have screwed that up already? Sorry, I guess I should give myself one of those. Well, welcome everybody to the MikeTheRef Twitch stream here for a Saturday night, December 16, 2023. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of fun tonight. It's going to be what we're going to be doing here is ranking. Basically, we're going to be tier listing all the games that I've played throughout 2023. Give me my thoughts on them. We can talk about them. If you guys have any comments in the chat, feel free to add them in as well. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Are watching most of my Twitch stream hours, which I figured it out. I actually streamed more days this year than usually a person who has a 40-hour work week would have all year. It was 261 times. And yeah, just freaking a lot. Just to put it politely here. But you know what? Sometimes it isn't work if I have the support. You know, so many people have supported me throughout this journey here over the last year. Yeah, gosh darn workhorse. Yeah, absolutely. I just do it because people enjoy it. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of headache. And this has actually been a real eye-turner for me when it comes to gaming this year. Because as we're going to get into this, and I'll talk about it when we get to start ranking our games here, this is the first year where I've really got into the real deep, heavy sets for games. Because before it used to be, okay, I'll play a couple hours, be done, and just plug away a little bit at a time here. But I started to find some games that were so great, and we're going to list them off in here, that I couldn't put the controller down, so we ended up going through the whole thing. Is this the refies? No, because we're not actually going to have the game of the year. And you know what, Rubik's, by the way, good to see you here tonight. Let's get things changed over here, and maybe I can show you guys what we're going to be doing here. There we go. I'll just throw that up there. While Twitch just replaced your audio with their own ads. I can understand that in some ways here. And what I will do is I will copy that link for you guys in the chat if you guys want to look at it yourself. Throw that in there for you guys. Doing this list on Lobo.com. It's the 2023 games that I've streamed this year. I have 43 games that I have gone through this year. And I'll be honest, my game of the year that I had planned here, I didn't realize this, but the game that I was thinking of that possibly could have been a game of the year for me, I played last year. It was, just for the record, it was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is a game that I absolutely adored as we went through there. So, but I wanted to show you the categories as well. We got S tier, keep on the 2024 list. Those are the games that I really enjoy, and I enjoy them enough that we are going to be playing them again here on stream coming up next year. We got One Time Is Enough. Good games, just it was an experience to have, and we'll move on from there. Like you got your one time in, and you should be good. You got Survived, which is self-explanatory there. We got through it. Glad we got through it. We're not going through it again. And then, I don't know if that needs any more explanation here. Why? WTF? All right, so you know what? I'm going to get the easiest one off the way, and it's the most recent one. Transformers Earthspark Expedition. Goes right there. After playing this on Thursday, it's rated E for everyone. It's a kid's game. I was enjoying it to the point where, as much as I'll enjoy basically an open style brawler, beat 'em up as you go around and just start beating everybody up randomly. But I think we need to calm down here and get a little music up on the background too. But this game here, when it got to the main boss, after 6 hours straight of streaming, we ended up with a nasty defeat. I'm not going to spoil it for the two people that might decide they want to play this now. We ended up with a nasty defeat after I loaded up on med packs, both large and small. I spent a ton of money on them. I still had a ton of money left. But when I died and we reset, it did not give me the many packs back. So basically, you are soft blocked on the boss. Oh, and they wrap up the difficulty from, okay, a little bit tough to what the hell for the final boss. So, Transformers Earthspark Expedition is getting the first WTF spot on the chart here. But then from there, let's start going through these in somewhat, except for the Mario Golf one, everything in here is in order of how we streamed this here. So let's start with Just Dance 2020. Now this one, it was a great experience. I would want to, I put it up here. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it with a more modern version. But this was a very special stream for me for more than one reason. It was a special thank you to everybody who donated towards the Jack.org campaign. That we raised $1,000 for youth and young adult mental awareness. So you're never going to argue about that. You're always going to have a great time when you're supporting the kids, right? As far as I'm concerned, you guys did amazing. Me alone made an S tier. Like I said, I would, in terms of what the stream meant, yeah, we'll put it up here. But you know what? Just for safety's sake, we might have to go back to this. So you know what? I'll keep that on my 2024 list just because we might have to do something like that for a fundraiser once again. So, well, let's move on here. Zelda, Link to the Past. I don't think anybody's going to doubt that that'll go up there. Always a classic, always a ton of fun. We really enjoyed playing through it. It's just like wrapping up an old car here and just taking out an old car for a drive that nice and smooth. Just the graphics are fun. The game was fun. We'll play it eventually again, but it's still a hell of a fun game. And yeah, it just one of the games I really enjoyed going up here. So let's get into them's fighting herds. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I think one time's enough for it. Unless so this list will have to be prefaced on what kind of DLC comes out for some of these games, because like them's fighting herds, if they get some DLC and get some more in that story mode, because we only got the first chapter story mode when it came out. I haven't heard much of anything more than that right now, so it might have something there in the future, but we'll see here. It was a decent fighting game, don't get me wrong, and the fact you get to fight with cows and ostriches and the goofy artwork, just, it was a ton of fun. Everybody had a blast. Okay, now Breaker's Revenge. I think it's going to be the same thing. One time is enough. This is a remake of a classic fighting game that we checked out. I wanted to check it out straight up because I was watching Justin Wong talk about it in his chat. And, you know, I like to play a lot of these 90 Capcom's fighting games, and it seemed like a fun game to play. And it got really infuriating the closer you got to the final boss. There was a couple fighters there you just were having such a, like, I think we spent an hour going after one of the speed demons in this game just because I couldn't oh, it's the serpent guy. That's who it was. That it took forever, and then the final boss took about an hour for all the times we had to face him. Really good fighting game. It's good for a challenge. I didn't get a chance to play it online, but I think one time's enough right now for the memories. But let's throw this up into our next game. Going right there, Hi-Fi Rush. In my opinion, one of the greatest games that we have seen come exclusively for Xbox in a very long time. And this one was just a straight shadow drop. When we got into this game also holds one more piece of significance for me here. If you heard me during the intro, I was talking about how I used to just play games for 2 hours or so and just go away. This game here was the first one that I decided, no, I want to keep playing this. I am enjoying this so much. We're going to do a 9-hour stream here and we're going to finish this. And we finished the main story and it was absolutely spectacular and so much fun. Still haven't got around to play Hi-Fi Rush yet, McG. Well, I'll give you a little spoiler. You might see it here, depending how long this takes here. We might get another hour and a half in. If we do, that's pretty much the game I got lined up here to check out here right away. So now we're starting to get closer to the spring. Now this one here, I'm going to preface this because I'm going to throw both these out right now. MLB The Show. This is my most streamed game that we had on any system this year was MLB The Show 23. Absolutely love the grind. Like, the grind was fun, especially when you were playing with friends. The Electric Show League was great while it happened in all 3 iterations that we had. I would like to get a little bit more into playing. I can't wait for the show 24. I'll just put it straight up with Otani and his Blue Jays white, as Otani is still on his way to Toronto. But that's another joke for another day here. So, but I will say, MLB The Show, just the improvements they made this year was it was a lot, and it actually did feel a lot better than it did in 22, because 22 was my first experience. I've always been an Xbox guy, so I never got a chance to play it till last year. And now this year, this much improved. I want to see what they do for 24. It did fall off with me a little bit here. And actually, I'm going to be honest. For me this year, I'm actually going to put that right there. For me, it was one of my favorite games this year, how much I played it. It was really enjoyable. Really enjoyable to play. And speaking of games that were enjoyable to play, NFL Blitz. We always do this for the Super Bowl. We're going to do it again for the Super Bowl. If the Bills are in the Super Bowl, it's going to be extra fun. But it's always good to play these cartoony type games. I know that Walker Pipe Guy, one of our dear friends here at the channel, and one of the nicest guys around, he got a chance to get the mod for NFL Blitz so he could use the 2023 rosters. So when he finally starts getting to that is going to be a hell of a fun time to play. Ha! Bills to the Super Bowl. Good joke.
You idiot.
Thanks, McG. Now, if the Bills get there, they got an outside shot. They did a lot today. A lot today helped out. Thanks, Pittsburgh. Way to screw yourselves over. We'll all know tomorrow. For those that are watching this on YouTube on New Year's Day, we are recording this on December 16th. So, if the Bills win tomorrow, it's going to speak a lot towards what we're going to be able to do going forward. We play the Chargers next week. Guaranteed win there. All right, let's get past the football. Let's keep moving on here. You know what? I'm going to get to Mario Golf Super Rush. I'm not going to call it a S-tier game because it's not. There's a few things that are missing on it to a lot of people and whatnot, but you know what? It is a hell of a fun game. And the rounds I had with the RTG crew were just... It was one of the most fun times I've had on stream. One thing I'm starting to notice is the more people I bring on stream with me, the more fun we have on here. And yeah, it's definitely something we're going to keep playing next year, but there's going to be another golf game that's going to join that as well here, and you'll see that come up. Now, I was talking about earlier about Hi-Fi Rush being one of the games that influenced me to start playing longer streams. This one doesn't quite make it to the S tier list, but it's actually going to go right there. One time is enough. Because I really enjoyed it. Bayonetta, it was a fun journey. The battle with Jean, about halfway through the game, it took a lot longer than I hoped it would. And you notice in Bayonetta 3 that things were a little bit more tighter. Of course, the third game in the trilogy is going to be a little bit tighter than the original, but it definitely was a hell of a lot of fun to play, and just a super overall game. The graphic design was good. There wasn't as much crap going on throughout the whole thing. It was definitely a lot of fun to play, and as we're going through it, a lot of the story games, they were actually pretty cool. What we're going to keep on, we'll put this on the 2024 list because this fighting game will never go away. Ultra Street Fighter 2. One of the few fighting games on the Switch that actually runs really well. I'd have to say we're definitely going to have to get back to that. And anybody when it comes to being a fighting game fan knows about this game, knows how much fun it can be. I was really surprised how well the online worked for this, because I think we ended up playing a few matches online, and there was actually pretty decent frame rate and whatnot, so I'm actually really happy about that. Now, I'm going to put, this is our first survived. NHL 23. We played it. We played a lot of Hockey Ultimate Team. I don't know. For me, it doesn't give me a feeling of, anything really stood out. This was the main reason why I wanted to get this game originally is because it supported the women, like the women's players were for the first time they were in the game here that you could play on Ultimate Team. And we had Sarah Nurse just rocking everybody on our lineup. But overall, there really wasn't anything special on it. So, I'm not going to say that I absolutely hated the game. It's not going to go into the YWTF category. But we did play it, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. And then we were starting to work on our Evo showcase here. And here's another S tier for you kids. Guilty Gear Strive. We even played this, what was it, last Saturday we were playing with the newest character, Elfhelt. And for me, it was just it was so much fun playing that game. Whether you're winning or losing, if you feel like you have control and you can do a lot of crazy stuff with whatever you're hitting the buttons, to me, that is the sense of a absolutely awesome fighting game. And Guilty Gear Strive has it. And now with the introduction of 3-on-3, it's actually going to... it's actually bumping down one of our other games here that we'll be coming up with shortly. Or hell, you know what? Let's throw it here right now. I'm going to put King of Fighters 15. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but just... because of the lack of crossplay, because of the lack of... like, you get your auto combos, which is great, but... I don't know. It just feels like this. This game does not feel like you're going to be able to carry it forward and do as much as you want to do in this game. And I think we've, unless they change a few things and get the crossplay going, and whatnot, we're probably not going to come back to this one next year. There's so many other good games coming up, and we'll talk about those on the back end here. Now, this one here, I know it's a running track here, but it's an older game. 2K3 is semi-fun, but we tried to play a season with the Thrashers, and every game I would get 4 to 5 players hurt a game. And I don't know why, and I don't know how. But we got through it. It was okay. It's one of the few games that I cut out early on, and there was just not a feel of having it. So it was fun to a point, but just, yeah, no. All right, here we go. Now the next one here. I'm actually going to throw this up here. 2K23. We primarily played the GM mode on this game, and was a lot of fun. They had a lot of new wrinkles in it that made it really fun to play. We played through season 1. I want to see if 2K24 they can get the online play function going, to see if they can get somebody else on there. So, hey, Andre, good to see you here tonight. We're just going through this list right now and update all the games that I've done in 2023 here. Once again, everybody, thank you for stopping in. But yeah, WWE 2K23, I'll keep it on the list right now, but I want to see what 24 has in the tank. Because if we get that back in the tank, and we get online play for GM mode, my God, that is going to be a ton of fun. Because I was watching, I know Ed Fries and Chris Parrish on our local establishment were trying to do it through Steam and just basically change the control back and forth, and it ended up being one big mess. So if there was some way to make it cleaner, I might actually consider doing that on here. And hey, maybe I'd take Andre out or somebody for who's a better GM here. But yeah, let's move on the list here. We got some heavy hitters coming up here. This game was fun for a while, but I'm gonna put PGA Tour Golf as a survived. I mean, you know what? It deserves a little better. One time is enough. The gameplay's solid enough, but there's nothing that really pops me as a non-diehard. That it's a game that needs to pop, like, there's no reason for me to play this outside of just having all the great courses that are available, which for a golfing aficionado, I could see why that would be a must play for you. And you're going to see here as we move forward, there's another golf game here that to me felt a lot better, and the online was a lot better if you ask me. So our next game, and Andre's just bringing it up right now. Actually, we'll talk about this real quick here, because let's face it, everything that we did this year on this ranking system, or everything that's on this list, we had wrestling pretty much intertwined through it. Thunder Rosa's finally back, and I'm happy to see it. I heard the news quickly on the old app here, the X app as we call it. But yeah, Thunder Rosa, if they could give her a storyline and let her run and get her some matches in here, I'm all for it. And the fact that they had 2 women's matches tonight on Collision could be the start of something special here. So let's hope at least. And Andre, that Zelda Breath of the Wild needs to be there. WTF? Why? This is all the backups, Andre. This is what's coming up. Of course, this is, honestly for me, I have to throw this here. I love the game, but there is no way in heck I'm going to go through that a second one. I love the gameplay. I love the story of the whole thing. The Divine Beasts were a different challenge that, was really simple. But for me, I'm a very linear guy when it comes to storylines. And so much side questing I could have got distracted on. And the thing that threw it from a S tier down to a one time is enough for me, you're going to get... It's the fact that I had to sit off stream for a good 6-8 hours bowling just to get money enough so I could upgrade. To me, that was the most frustrating part of the whole thing. Find Tears of the Kingdom once is enough as it's... We will get to Tears of the Kingdom next year here, sir. So we're not going to be able to deal with that right now. Remember the game, hey buddy, can't chat, driving to a gig, but you're keeping me company on the road. Thank you, Adam. I hope you're having a safe time on the road. I heard things further south are a little nasty here, but yeah, this is a very fun try here about what we're going through everything. Just remembering everything as we go along here. It's actually a lot of fun. Let's see here. Say that on X and your feet explode. Yeah. Though I didn't particularly like Breath of the Wild and didn't bother with Tears. That makes sense. Right now we are at 1 degree here in Edmonton, which is about 33 for you American folk. And yeah. But whichever are hard to see the titles of your phone at work. Yeah, I get it. Sorry, that's the way we had to do it here. Hey, Mr. Hoagie Man, how you doing here tonight? I hope you're doing well, my friend. We're having a lot of fun here breaking these down. All right, let's get back to the list here. Like I said, Zelda, one time is enough for me right now. I am going to play Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm going to get into that after we're all done here. But let's get into the S tier, another fighting game going up in the S tier. Street Fighter. The only bad thing about this game, is the fact that they've overpriced their skins way too damn much. That has nothing to do with the game, that has to do with Capcom themselves. The guys in the marketing department are a bunch of airheads. So, like, having to charge essentially $5 for a skin when you can only buy $6 at a time. Or I think it's like 4 and 8 or something. Like you have to buy two skins whether you like it or not. Just because of the Fortnite currency system there, so. So let's see here. I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Excuse me, I gotta go to X and tell everyone that Breath of the Wild behind in the what the vote Wildcat. Nice. That's cheap to the skins compared to Destiny 2. I don't care. Either way, Destiny 2 skins shouldn't be that cheap either. And I think Capcom's starting to figure it out based on the lack of skins that are getting purchased. I got the Cammy skin, which we still have to get on stream here to check out, which we'll be doing now between now and Christmas sometime. But it is a fun time. That game, like the online's great, the ranked mode is great. The story is simple. The world tour mode, like we were going all over the place on that and having so much fun meeting all the characters. I think the only one we had a problem fighting was Cammy, and that we found right after the stream was done. But yeah, like Street Fighter 6, like in terms of the fighting game, that's pretty much going to be the A tier game there. So, but one game that I'd like to see up in the 2024 list, but I'll put it there for now. It might get bumped out as we go along. The Ninja Turtle skins for Street Fighter were released near Halloween. They cost $15 a skin and you did get to use them in fights. You got to use them in World Tour mode. You can go back and check our YouTube channel and it will give you all the details of... you can check out the Street Fighter 6 playthrough for World Tour that I did. And you'll get to see Michelangelo in action. Because I sure as hell wasn't going to pay $60 for 4 turtle skins. But yeah, getting back to Dragon Ball FighterZ here. I want to keep pardon the pun to Adam here, but I want to keep my good eye, which I'm assuming is my left since I'm left-handed. I don't know how that works. But I want to keep my eye on this one, mainly because right now they're doing preliminary testing on new rollback for Dragon Ball FighterZ. And if they can get that implemented where the netcode isn't exactly horrible, so when you're trying to play somebody, it isn't like you're trying to fight uphill with a canoe while you're trying to play a video game, this one might be worth checking out. I know we just checked it out on the story mode. You know, it was there. It wasn't anything overly exciting. So for me, I'll keep it on my list, but I don't think it's going to be something that we're really going to be looking forward to playing here if they don't fix things up on it. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more sentimental to me. Now, you know what? I'm going to put it here. We never got a chance to finish it. We were very close to finishing it. It Takes Two. The reason it doesn't go into the survive category is simply who I was playing with. Kayla J having so much fun playing that game. We were borderline getting into arguments about it just because, you know, we both have to work in that game. You have to work together. Like one person has to do one thing, one person has to do another. For the most part, we were getting through it, but there are some times there that we just, what are you doing, Mike? Why can't you fly that plane properly? Got to play that with Adam during the charity stream. It's so much fun. Yeah, like, for me, it gets extra bonus points for the fact that it's more about who you play with than what you're playing. Because if this was just a one-person game with an AI helping you, this game might have got a survived, might have got a WTF at that point. But the fact that you get to play it with somebody and you're communicating and you have to work together for all this stuff, it just makes it that much more worthwhile. And, you know, you're talking about the charity stream there. Shout out to Adam Blank and Remember the Game raising $25,000 freaking dollars for the Stollery this year. Like, the man does some, well, why am I saying some? The man does a lot of work when it comes to his streaming, his podcasts, his, well, hell, you're gonna see he was so busy trying to get everything else done. He absolutely booked a horrible Sega Genesis list for our fantasy draft that we had. That's going to be coming out on the 28th. Everybody vote for me. Please, vote for me. Cheap plug already. But no, in all seriousness, Adam is one of the best guys around. And honestly, I still have his Christmas present sitting on my counter that I've had here for, let's see now, it's December, 3 months. And I'm probably just going to end up having to mail it to him, so we'll see here. But let's move on the list here. UMVC 3. Yeah, I'm going to keep it down here. It's probably one of the best fighting games ever made next to UMVC 2. Or MVC 2. For me, the reason that it goes there is because at the time we were playing, there wasn't as many people online as there is now. If you're playing this game through Fightcade, it'd probably help out a lot as well. There's it has pretty much everything, and the modding community that's doing it now, we're probably looking at one of the top fighting games of the year, of the past 10 years, if not 20. So once you start getting back in those older generations here, be interesting to see where you go with that. Played more fighting games this year than entire life. You know what? It's an acquired taste. Like I try to explain to people, fighting games is a game of rock, paper, scissors every 3 seconds, if not every third of a second. And some people just don't want to deal with all those decisions all the time. And that's extremely apparent in one of the games we're going to be finishing up with on this list, which we'll get to. So who is your WWE and or AEW MVP wrestler for this year? I couldn't tell you. There's so many different ways you could go on that one. Everybody's got their own opinions. You got MJF that's going crazy. You got while Reigns is a champion forever, Rollins is doing some excellent work. I don't really like saying one particular wrestler is better than everybody else. I never have, and I'm not doing that on this list either. As you can see, I'm tiering it. We might actually go into some of that for next year. Yeah, like I picked up a year subscription to this Lobo. It's sort of like tier list, but it helps you. You can look up stuff. So yeah, Rubik's. You gotta get the recruitment drive here for McG. There is a lot of great people in that fighting in the streets chat for a member of the game Discord. I wish I got a chance to play with you guys more often, but I'm all over the place when I'm playing, so. But yeah, let's get back on the list here, because we still got another line and a half to go here. You guys are going to be surprised about this one, honestly. I think you will. And it's basically because what happened last week. Fortnite's going to the S tier for me. I haven't played it as much as I want on stream. Like, I think I've had maybe 3 or 4 streams with it. But now, with the racing mode in there, basically rocket racing is a game changer for me. Like, the fact that you got a free racing game in there. I knew I was going to get that somehow there. Thanks. My fiance went to get Mortal Kombat 1, so I picked that up as a Christmas gift. Hey, we'll get to that here. It's up on the list here in a few seconds here. But like Fortnite, you got to give it a chance if you haven't before. For me personally, I'll do some zero build. Last Sunday, we actually played with Team Landboat with Rick Jules, Jaylee Beads, Shane Saw, Maxi Gaming. If you don't know where Team Landboat came from, it's one of the funniest segments I've ever seen. It was last season of Fortnite. These guys commandeered a boat and basically refused to get off of it. Regardless whether they were on land, they managed to power their way on through land and ended up getting a victory royale out of it in squads. So from there on in, they were known as Team Landboat. I believe in Rick Jules' brand new entrance, or his intro video that I've done up for him, we do have a bit of land boating on there for you. So, but yeah, like Fortnite, I have to put it in the S tier. It might be the lowest game on the S tier, but it still has to be on the S tier for me. One game that I'm gonna have to move to survived. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. This is part of our 12-hour stream for Red Cross in June. And I found that while the gameplay was rather solid in this, for the most part, the camera work and the controls were not. So for me, it really didn't stand up for me in terms of what a game should be. Especially with the new Prince of Persia coming out soon. That's why we played this one, so we can get ready for the next one. I get it that this was an old GameCube game, and we were playing it on an original Wii here, so the hardware is not exactly the best, but at the same time, there were some spots there where it's just so difficult to control, and so unforgiving. I understand getting good, but getting good ain't gonna get you far these days, but... So I'm going to put that one in Survive. It's not an absolute horrible game, but it definitely needs a lot of work. Now, if I'm going to compare this to the hype that was happening, this game would end up right here. AEW Fight Forever absolutely did not live up to the hype. But if you sit back, ignore the price point, and just think about playing the game itself, I'm actually going to put it right there. With the potential to put it up here depending on some of this DLC that's coming out. They have a new mode now called Beat the Elite, which is basically your equivalent to an arcade ladder match where you got to end up beating 10 opponents and the last one's a member of the Elite and you get some skins out of it. I don't know if that's going to be enough to save it onto the list that you want to play it on a regular basis. I did pick up the second season here, and we are probably going to give it a try here on stream one of these days, maybe before a pay-per-view. But personally, AEW Fight Forever, I'm happy we went through it. I remember the old N64 days of the Big Four in wrestling games. It wasn't horrible, but for what it should have been, it was... Well, let's put it this way. The Becoming Elite mode, or the story mode, was absolute trash, which is going to knock it down big time, so... But yeah, I'll put that in the one time is enough category. And then now... Mortal Kombat 11. Probably not going to go back to it, so one time is enough. It's a solid game, don't get me wrong. It's got some great stuff in it. The online's great. The forgiveness isn't exactly there. The story's absolutely amazing if you ask me. I love the story. But it doesn't hold a candle to what UMVC 3 or Ultra Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 6 were, in my opinion. NetherRealm is a different type of game, and it gets the value of the value the gameplay gets over in the goriness. And for me, goriness isn't a factor that's going to keep me coming back to it. Except for another game we're coming up with, and I'll tell you why that's going to get moved for a different reason here coming up. But yeah, let's... this next one here, I'm going to say Survive merely for the fact that Kayla J beat me so bad that I barely got by it. I'll probably end up playing this again. Not of my own volition, but it looks like I probably will end up playing this again. It's very basic. It has everything you want. It's Monopoly. And just surviving it, for me, is more than fine. And one game I have to say, and it's my RPG bias here. I'm putting this right here. This game had so much hype to it, and between the storylines as it went along and just the tediousness of the game, the game felt more like a Zelda game, but with that RPG aspect. You don't mind going to explore in a Zelda game and learning new things, but that grind that you constantly have to have in this RPG, and the fact that they were essentially playing in a toy box rather than like real life characters, it was okay. But like I said, I was really disappointed when this came out. I pre-ordered it for a reason, and it just, it really stunk for me, to be honest. I was really not happy with the results that came out for it. So, but let's move on here. Melty Blood type Lumina. This is when we were doing our Evo showcase, and this will probably be another one that I'll probably see what they're going to come up with here in the future for it. And it actually seems a lot of fun. Played WrestleQuest 3 again, kind of fell off it too. Yeah, like, there's nothing grabbing you there. And for all the hype and all the cameos that they picked up, like, they had so many people from the IWC and so many people from the wrestling business in that game, that to me, it was a disappointment that it couldn't do any better than what it did. But yeah, for Melty Blood, it was a decent game. The storyline was hella fun. Creepy as hell, all hell, but fun nonetheless. And like playing as CL through the whole thing here, and just learning that you're trying to make certain bosses happy, and your angels and demons and all the crazy specials and whatnot. It just ended up being a very fun fighting game to try out, and it's something I'm definitely going to keep my eye on for next year to see what they come up with in the future here for it. Now this one might shock some fans right away. I'm putting Tekken 7 there. I'm not the best Tekken player in the world, I know that. But this automatically gets a one time is enough, because they're changing the combat system in Tekken 8, which is coming out in a month and 10 days. And hell, the demo's out right now, so that's going to be one of the things we're going to be checking out here sometime in the near future. But Tekken 7 story, like, it was interesting, but it never helped you grow. And for me, that's the thing. When you're taking a story mode like this, maybe try to set something up that you're trying to make it get better as you move along. And for me, it just doesn't seem like a fighting game that's going to help somebody that isn't a diehard Tekken fan get any better. So I'm going to put it in the one time is enough, with the caveat that I really do hope that from what I hear, Tekken 8 has got so many extra added features, like essentially an arcade training mode, and the story is going to be a whole lot different. I'm really looking forward to see what we're going to get coming up in the future here. So, sorry, I had to get a sip of water there for you listening here. Next up, we got a couple. Well, I'm going to put 3 sports games together here so we get them all out of the way here. FIFA 23, I'm going to put as a one time is enough, just because we got the new thing coming up here. And I actually don't even have it on here. All right, so I'll put this here for the fact that EAFC 24 needs to be in here as well. And that's what we're going to be playing a lot more at EAFC. And we're going to get away from the Football Ultimate Team. I think we're going to get a little bit more into franchise mode and see how much fun we can do taking a team to the top. Because I like the mechanics of the game. I like the fact that you can... it bases your foot team on chemistry as well. So you just can't load up with the best players. You got to have players that can work together as well. So... But you want to talk about great games. PGA 2K23. Now, man, I've only played this like 3 or 4 times on stream. But man, this is one of my go-to games when I'm not on stream. There's a couple that aren't on this list here that I was actually surprised that I didn't play this year on stream. That are sort of my relaxation games. I'll let you guys know about those at the end here as we go along. But this game here, now that they went to the three-point hitting, for me, I found it so much more fun to play. And just the way the story mode works out, and I really enjoy the career mode right now. I'm in the middle of Q school once again. I reset my characters so I can give her another shot here, and it just feels so much fun. It's a sports game. Its primary goal is to be fun, and that's what this game is. And we never had any problems with the online play, but we'll have to see. We're gonna probably try to get some more rounds in this year as part of our stream process here. So you're gonna hear that phrase as a common thing going forward here. So, and my other sports game of this wrap up here is NBA 2K24. For me, I really enjoyed playing this here. Once you start figuring out the controls a little bit more and how to play defense a little better, it does do a lot of work to help you out. I'm a little disappointed at how poorly the WNBA portion of the game is, because with the expansiveness of my player in NBA 2K24, you would think they'd try to do a little bit better job at trying to do some off-court stuff for the WNBA as well. If you guys haven't watched the streams, which I recommend you do once again, there's the link in the chat for you. We actually had the second last part of our run-through go through today, and then the finale of the series is going to be next Saturday. When you win the WNBA title, it doesn't even acknowledge it. You just literally skip to the off season. You get to plan your moves for the off season. No screen saying congratulations. No fancy Taz anything. Give us some reason to play this series, guys and girls that work there. Like 2K, give us a reason to play some of your other modes rather than just slapping it in there. I bought the WNBA cover. You think I might want to play the WNBA a little bit more? Like, come on, guys. Show up and do a little bit more work here. All right, let's get into this one here, because this one just came. This is September. Mortal Kombat 1. Definitely going to be on my keep list for 2024. There's been enough bugs and hiccups in here, and once again, that cost bug is starting to be a bit of a pain in the tuchus, where fatalities are costing like $10 if you want to buy them for like the Christmas fatality and the Thanksgiving fatality that they had. To me, that just, and some of the skins that they have been $10. For me, that just, no, it just doesn't work for me. But the reason it still stays on my 2024 list, we get to beat up John Cena and kill him in 2024. You think we ain't gonna do that next year? Oh yeah, that's like half of wrestling fans' dreams.
And his name is John Cena!
And of course, he will be dead soon. So, thank you for that, McG. All right, let's move on here. These next two games are actually part of my birthday stream. And the first one here, Jitsu Squad, it's a beat 'em up. It was actually a really fun beat 'em up with 4 different characters, 8 different levels. It took about 4 hours to complete one run. It is a game expressly set up that all your achievements are based on winning it with each character. But I don't see enough there to really grab me to keep me back there. Special appearance by Maximilian Dude and Benny. Benny his dog, which is always a fun time. And it pops me every time when I see it. Especially since Benny's passed away and whatnot, so... To me, I really, really enjoyed it. And it turned out to be a lot of fun. But it's one time is enough for that. But one we will probably get back to, not just because Jules was squirming all the whole time we were playing this, Party Animals. 8 drunk dads fighting in a Little League game. The best description I have ever heard for a freaking video game. To me, that is like the epitome of what this game's all about. You get in there with basically beanbag characters trying to beat each other up, and last one standing wins. I love the fact that we found the meta how to win on the submarine by the end of the stream, as I would sit in the top of the view boat and just punch anybody who tried to come near me, knock them all into the water, and end up winning the round easily. It was cheap, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. So, yeah, it's definitely something we're gonna get back into here in 2024. Now, this game here, it went under the radar quite a bit, but for me, it was probably one of my most fun games of the year, simply by how creative it was. Cereza and the Lost Demon, the Bayonetta prequel. For those that didn't play it, you have Cereza, who's basically the younger version of Bayonetta, the young girl Bayonetta. And she's a youth growing up to learn to become a witch. And you have her spirit, Cheshire, who is a stuffed cat who's been infused with a demon. So the demon is one character who is basically the protector, the brute, the beast. And Cereza is more of the caster, the mage, the helper, and whatnot in this game. But the unique thing about this game is you use each thumbstick to control one character. So Cereza would be on your left stick, Cheshire would be on your right. To fight, it's with the back triggers, and you had recall or special move with your front triggers. Is Randy Marsh in the game? I don't think so at this point. I think you're talking about Party Animals, and I'm not 100% sure. I just know it's a hell of a lot of fun. But Cereza is a game that I think it's in the same path as Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, where it's a great game. I don't know if we're going to play it again, but it was probably one of the best games of the year that I played. And it's just because it was so unique and so much fun with the story. To me, it was just such a blast. But then, of course, until they come up with a new one, Mario Kart 8 gets in here as well on the Keep It On 2024 list. What can you say? It's racing in circles, it's racing with different cars. The online's interesting depending on how you play, and definitely a fun time. And I can't wait for Mario Kart 9 to be announced for the Switch 2. I'm guessing probably at the Game Awards is when they're going to announce the new product, even though Nintendo typically doesn't work with Keighley for much of anything. I think they might have this one just to shock the hell out of everybody. Because Nintendo likes to shock people once in a while. And once again, I'm going to throw this one in under one that I was okay with, but a little disappointed. That's Mario Bros. Wonder. The return to 2D, don't get me wrong, it's a hell of fun. The Kirby-style gameplay was alright. I didn't mind it, really. It's just the fact that I'm a big fan of once you've done the story, don't come back to me and say, oh, well, you missed a few, so let's go back and finish them all. I'm not a completionist. Once my story's done, I like to, just leave it at that and say thank you very much and goodbye. It's not a game I'm probably going to replay again. I might try to finish it up sometime. We might have, going in the future, possibly a cleanup stream of, basically a cleanup stream of some of the games that I've finished but not 100%ed. There could be something like that coming up here. There's a whole bunch of different ideas I got, But yeah, I'm just going to put the one time is enough for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. For many people, it was a game of the year. For me, it almost felt like everybody knew it was going to be a short game. It didn't feel complete to me. Like, it didn't feel like I really had to accomplish a whole lot, but it wasn't exactly the worst thing in the world either. We're going to put this one here. God of War 2018 that we just wrapped up just a couple weeks ago here. One time is enough because I would have thoroughly enjoyed the game. I probably would have given it a higher ranking if the difficulty wasn't so high up just for normal. Like, for you guys that came down and checked out our early part of our stream, like, I had to edit it out of the video. We were going through the first and second areas, and we were taking like an hour to get through them. And if that's going to be the way it is throughout the entire game, it's not worth it. So we cranked the difficulty down to story mode, and we had fun with it. Don't get me wrong; it was a fun game. It didn't pack that punch that wants me to go back and finish the New Game Plus part. But it did give me enough that I want to go in and check out the story for Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is on our list going forward here as well. So don't worry, we got a bunch of good games coming up here. This one I'm going to put on my 24 list just because little bit of because they had so many changes on this game with the pressure zone time and the new control scheme that I do still need to master. It'd be nice to check it out and see what we can do, maybe in a franchise mode or something on it. I don't think it's going to be something that we're going to be playing regularly unless something really comes up, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on, something I think we will get into a little bit going forward here. But then last but certainly not least, hey Astrid, speaking of, certainly not least here, good to see you here today, Astrid. Well, my last game I gotta rank here, I'm gonna throw this up here right now. Killer Instinct. I'll deal with that after I'm done here. Killer Instinct 2013 just came out with the anniversary edition. This game is such a blast to play. With all the different modes coming up, and as you're playing every game, it literally is, do I counter breaker this? Can I break this? Can I get out of this? Can I attack this? What move do I do next? What move don't I do? If you're talking about fighting games that are just straight goofy, but can be a ton of fun, Killer Instinct has to be right there, without a doubt. Well, there you go, folks. There's my tier list of games I played this year. I will put a picture of this out online here for you guys, guys and girls here later, so you guys can let me know what you think about it. I think overall this is right. For the most part, we did play some great games. We survived. It's amazing that when it comes to older games, there's a lot of hit and miss here, because most of our older games, or most of our GameCube games, are the ones that ended up in the survive category, with 2K3 for the Xbox and Prince of Persia for the GameCube. And then I really hate that the last new game we're playing this year is Transformers. I might have to change that. I might have to make an executive decision and just say, no, we can't end the year on something like that. Sorry, chat, got the hiccups there for a second. But yeah, feel free, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, please let me know in the comments what you think. I know there's going to be a lot of controversial comments here about some of these, and it's going to be interesting to see what we get to do next year, because I'll tell you this right now, I got a rough timeline on what we're going to be taking a look at early here. The focus in January here, we're going to be starting Horizon Forbidden West is going to be on January 1st. Or sorry, Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be first. We're going to do the first one just like we did with God of War and Zelda here. It looks like our Monday schedule is roughly going to be Horizon Zero Dawn, followed by Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which comes out February 2nd. And then following that, we're probably going to go into Tears of the Kingdom here as our Monday night game. I'll warn you right now, if we get into Tears of the Kingdom, I'm probably going to push... I'm going to push through the story mode for the most part. I'm not going to sit there and try and deal with the side quests for so much here. But in terms of other games that are coming out, we got Tekken coming out, Tekken 8 coming out January 26th. The demo is available already. We got Grand Blue Fantasy Grand Blue Fantasy Rising, a new fighting game that just got released now. There's word that Project Hell might come out in a decent time. Fighting in terms of another fighting game, DNF Duel. Of course, we're going to have our usual suspects that come out every year that are going to be a part of this. Biggest one probably in December is going to be MLB The Show 24. If it's on Game Pass, we're probably going to get all over it again. We're probably going to try and get a league set up again, and we'll try and hunker through that. Biggest thing this year, and something else I want to try this year, and this is where all you guys get involved as well. We are going to be looking to do more cooperative games. We're going to be looking at doing more games with friends on stream, because now with Stream Together from Twitch, I'm able to do that for up to 5 people. So we can have some people chatting on here at the same time that we're playing a game together. And one thing I'm looking at is the new Jackbox games. So we'll probably have some more Jackbox streams of friends. One thing I will be doing here on the wrestling side, and it probably will fall into the gaming side eventually. And once again, I want to give Adam Blank credit here for Remember the Game, because let's face it, I'm just ripping off his idea. And just the only difference between what we're doing and what he's doing is we're going to do ours live. I announced it December 13th on the stream, but I'll announce it here as well. This January, as long as I can get everybody put together, we are going to be doing a live wrestling themes fantasy draft. Gonna get everybody from Backbreaker Media here, or the local ones here from Backbreaker Media, together for a 10-round fantasy draft involving theme music from wrestling. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I believe the way it's gonna work. Don't quote me on this because I'm getting close. We're gonna get 10 rounds. We're gonna set up a way where you guys can vote, probably in the Discord, the Backbreaker video Discord, or the Backbreaker Media Discord, and the winner is going to end up with. I'm gonna probably donate $50 to a charity of their choice. Like I said, I am completely ripping off Adam Blank for this, and I will give him full credit when we do this. I might even put a Remember the Game logo on the bottom of it. We'll see. But I want to start. We're not going to do this every time. I want to see how the first one comes out and how the first one does. If that goes well, then we're probably going to move into we'll do a second one probably in 3 months. We might do one a season with different categories. We might do like for example, a favorite WrestleManias on WrestleMania weekend. Favorite gimmick wrestlers. We got a whole bunch of different topics. We'll be doing video games. We'll be doing wrestling. We'll be all over the place. Like, wrestling has been such a part of my life for the last. Well, I'm 45 now, and probably the first, I would say, 42 to 43 years of my life, wrestling's been a part of it. So it's never going to fully go away, but there is going to be a lot of gaming involved too. So I want to mix things up here, but it's going to be a lot of fun along the way as well. And if anybody's watching this that wants to collaborate or wants to work together on something, let me know and we can get together. And hell, even if it's just a round of golf on stream for 2K23 and you want to come on here and chat, I'm more than willing to do that as well. Gonna have to work on somewhat of a schedule about what's gonna happen here. We're probably gonna keep somewhat of the same schedule, but I might cut back a little bit because, well, 261 streams in a year is a bit much. Just saying. But I do have to say this with all that stuff that we're talking about here. The one thing I am most proud about, and I'm going to throw the link in the chat one more time, is our YouTube page for gaming. I can tell you right now that we do have the rest of the year filled up. So one of the things I was told as I was getting into wrestling was someone had made a comment in regards to taking my ball and going home because I never complete anything. So I damn well made it my purpose. And one of my goals this year was to make 365 videos on the YouTube page this year. And we had over 365 because Crowder's been throwing in shorts. Jules has been throwing in videos as well. And I want to give a big shout out to Rick Jules and Privileged James Crowder. They both did a fantastic job this year in helping out. I know that life gets in the way with a lot of things, and I think that does with everybody. And for me, it feels right to work with those two guys because they're so awesome to work with on the gaming side. Even though, you know, some people get frustrated and whatnot, it's always fun to see people who know how they want to succeed and how to do it. And this year, we're going to get bigger. We're going to get better. I'm going to be working a little bit more. I've been changing my editing style a little bit here for some of my, for the videos. Going to try and work on getting a few more shorts put together this year. But man, I will say this. I don't expect the actual number of games that are going to be coming out that we're going to be playing to be as extensive as it was last year. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be a bunch of blockbusters that are coming out. But this year, I think, was absolutely unbelievable for the games that we had. And I don't know what to tell you guys. This is going to be a fun year, regardless of, even if we still have just the same games that we have right now. I'll guarantee you we're going to have a fun time here regardless. I want to bring in some more people. I want to, share things out with a lot of people here and have this experience be more about you guys than just me here. Because, yeah. Andre, you have returned. It's always a pleasure. I hope the recording went well for you. I'm assuming you were doing some recording tonight. Just talking about future plans this year. And you know what? Speaking of future plans, I have to give credit to that Canada dude and Collins Millball, who virtually, well, except for today, according to the chat, they're recording relentlessly for their channel and allowing us to essentially keeping Backbreaker alive by helping us, letting us simulcast their shows on here. One thing I've always said, and this goes with Astrid as well, Astrid Pizarro, who does an absolutely amazing job covering ladies wrestling. She did a fun job with, did a fun job last night with Ring of Honor. She's, I know they used to do the Impact shows. Might have to get a little bit more back into the TNA shows if anybody's interested. We can always use the extra help with that too as well, but yeah, it's next year. I'll go a little bit behind the curtain here in terms of my video editing software. Last year, my Vegas studio that I was using essentially crapped out. Like, it kept restarting, kept having bugs, kept having issues to the point where I had to get rid of it. So I'm working with a new one now, Power Director, but I haven't learned how to do multi-camera editing yet. So I am planning on doing that. When I finally get that down, I got 5 or 6 bookcase drives of matches from 2015 to 2019 that I have to edit. And when they get done, they are damn well going on that YouTube channel, our wrestling channel. It's already got 710 subscribers already. We're on our way to 1,000 there. I honestly feel once I start getting these matches up, it will get to that mystical 1,000 that all YouTubers are looking for. But yeah, I got a feeling next year's going to be a ton of growth. It's going to be a ton of fun. And who knows, we might end up having a 5th member, hell, a 4th or a 5th member joining our gaming crew here in the next year, so. Oh, and I see that Stream Elements is throwing extra up there, but yeah, I think in terms of the review, that's gonna wrap it up for that part. What time is it here? 8:30. We're still a little early yet, so how do you guys feel about me possibly firing up one of the top games of the year here that I had? One of the S tier games. Because I got a hankering to go back to do a little New Game Plus and just check out, some of the favorites here and some of the games that we haven't touched in a while. So I think it's going to be a hell of a... That's exactly what I was looking at, Andre. So what I'm going to do here, guys, I am going to throw it to a break here for both... I'm going to throw the break screen on. I'm going to get the Xbox ready. And when we come back, let's fire up a little bit of New Game Plus for Hi-Fi Rush. But if anybody's taking off, before I go. For anybody that stopped by here already tonight, anybody who stopped over here all year, I truly do appreciate everything that you guys have done, whether you've been lurking, whether you've been watching, whether you've been subscribing, whether you picked up the merch, whether you're dropping bits or whatever you've done to help. Every person who's come in here has had an impact on me. And it allows me to have that feeling to keep going. And without you guys, I really don't know what I would do. Like, I know that about, I'm going to be serious for a minute, so I'm going to take the chip tune down here. Probably about 18 months ago from here, I was in a pretty dark place with my life and just being very toxic with all my stuff. When I was dealing with a lot of issues, a lot of separation anxiety in a lot of ways. The pandemic made everybody feel isolated, but for me, it just felt a little bit extra on different levels. So originally when I started streaming on Twitch, it was just keep the commentary skills going, keep the abilities going, keep the mind going while we get ready to go back to work for wrestling. But it almost feels like now that I've got into the gaming, I don't need to go back to wrestling in the role that I was. Doing the watch-alongs, the sidecasts, it's always so much enjoyable by you guys. Hoagie Man, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Players Pit. Enjoy the company down there, but I would highly recommend do not touch the punch bowl. I think it's been spiked. If you want the good punch, you got to get a club membership, aka a subscription. So, which are 25% off, but I digress. I've tried not to plug too much tonight. You know, I'm just trying to be a nice guy. I'm usually a human plug machine all over the place here. It's like I said, this has been a very dark. I was in a very dark place for a while there. Because, well, wrestling was my life for the better part of 10 years there. Like, every day I was doing something towards wrestling, and then there just wasn't anything there. But now the gaming community has brought me in different ways here, whether it be being a guest on Adam's podcast, which is absolutely a blast, which I got to remind me to message him, but there's a game I definitely want to cover with him that's not a fighting game for once. But also we got just the overall, like, trying to get into new fighting games and whatnot. People were so accommodating, and I've almost felt like the last couple months here that when it comes to gaming, I've been feeling a lot better about myself and my abilities in these games. It used to be like I almost had to struggle to succeed, but now it's more of I got to struggle to excel, not to succeed, because I'm going to succeed all the time. And that, my friends, I couldn't have done without each and every one of you. So, from the bottom of my cold, infested, black heart, thank you. Thank you for being the part of my solution. So,